Joining me right now are Congressman Adam Schiff, Democrat representative from California and ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, what do we have hard right now about a possible Trump or Trump associate role in encouraging the Russians to interfere in our elections? What do you got hard?
Well, Chris, unfortunately, I can't go into the evidence that's being presented to the committee.
Do you have something hard that you can't reveal?
I can't reveal that, Chris.
You can't reveal that you have something.
I have urged the chairs of both committees, and I urged it of myself and the other ranking member, as well as our other members of both committees, not to be discussing the evidence we have. I can tell you that we're going to be receiving our first testimony on the counterintelligence investigation fairly imminently. That will, I think, shed some more light in terms of what leads we need to chase down. I can also tell you, and this is as of just a few minutes ago, we have reached a written agreement, the minority and the majority on the House Intelligence Committee, that we will investigate allegations of Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. That will be very much a part of our investigation. So we're committed to doing it. And as the Democratic members, we are going to ensure in every way that we can that that investigation is thorough. And if we get to the point where we don't feel we can do that job, or not being permitted to do the job for whatever reason, either within the committee or because the FBI pushes back and won't share information with us, we will be public about it. But we have a commitment to do that investigation, and I don't think we should prejudge where it will lead.
How long will you, this is a political question, but this is politics, how long will you go in your investigation without getting hard evidence of collusion by the Trump people?
Well, I mean, here's what I think people need to understand.
3 months, 5 months, a year? At some point, do you have to say, let's get open. Do you have to say, we haven't got anything hard yet, we got to drop this? We can't just keep investigating to investigate.
Yeah, well, certainly we could get to that point, but let me say something also, which I think people really need to understand. I say this as someone who was, for almost 6 years, a prosecutor with the U.S. attorneys and who had a lot of complex white-collar prosecutions. These kind of cases, investigation of this magnitude, will take time. If this were any other kind of investigation, you may just be poring over the documents themselves for weeks before you even identify which witnesses to bring in before the grand jury, or in this case, before our investigative committee. So it will take time. The allegations are serious. They involve not only the issue of collusion that we're talking about, but also what was the U.S. government's response when we learned that the computers of the Democratic Party had been hacked. We want to investigate also, did the intelligence community reach the right conclusions about the Russian involvement and motivations? When did this possibly go from a foreign intelligence gathering operation to a information weaponization program? We need to look at all of these issues, and I understand, believe me, I feel the urgency. I hear that urgency every time I'm out in my district or anywhere else. But if we're going to do this right, it means that we need to be thorough about it. And again, I think we'll know fairly soon whether we're going to have the cooperation that we need to do this right. And if we don't, if the FBI, for example, says, we're not going to share with you what we've investigated, we're not going to tell you what leads we pursued, we're not going to do it, notwithstanding how open they were about the Clinton investigation, then we'll have a problem. That'll mean we can't do our job, and we'll have to say so. But I think we ought to test whether we can conduct an independent investigation. We ought to try to pursue it on a bipartisan basis and follow the evidence wherever it leads.
Well, your intent on investigations, and let me ask you if you could put some meat on that without giving away anything. Do you, in your mind and heart right now, believe we have to have an investigation as to the possible engagement by the Trump people with the Russians?
Absolutely. And the reason I feel so strongly about this is we know the Russians use a variety of tactics and have used a variety of tactics in Europe, including, obviously, weaponization of data like we know occurred here, but also blackmail, extortion, compromising people. They have used collusion with the natives of different countries in Europe. They've used all of the things that are the subject of our concern here. Our very democracy was attacked, and the democracies in Europe are being attacked. attacked. We're in a global war of ideas, of autocracy and authoritarianism against democracy. This is vital to our national security, that we understand exactly what happened here. And if anyone has been compromised, we need to know it. Okay. If anyone here has broken, and U.S. persons or campaign people or others have violated the law in collusion with the Russians, they ought to be brought to justice. So there's every reason to do a thorough investigation here.
Thank you, U.S. Congressman Adam Schiff.